Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As part of today's session and some of the coming sessions which we'll have in future, we'll be talking about Sitecore Connect. So we'll see, what is Sitecore Connect, its features, its advantages, and some of the scenarios where we should be, using Sitecore Connect. So yeah, but for today's session, it is mostly about the introduction. We are going to cover. So let's just start with that. So Sitecore Connect is basically part of Sitecore Engagement Cloud. It's a recent addition which has been done on the engagement cloud. Other modules includes personalized CDP and send. So if you know Sitecore engagement cloud, it is all about giving you the tools which are required to deliver connected and cross channel experiences. So that's the the main idea behind engagement cloud. And it is also about connecting customer data, personalizing and optimizing experience across channels. So if you talk about personalize, which is part of your engagement cloud, it basically deals with optimizing your experiences, right, which is part of your personalized. Then about CDP, it is about connecting and collecting your data across different platforms. That also you can do with CDP. And then send is about you can think of it as an marketing automation kind of tool where you can deal with the journeys and marketing campaigns you can basically create there. So all these things collectively, if you see, right, you can basically create a omni-channel experiences for your brands, for your users, and basically provide them a very relevant and optimized experience. So that's how we use engagement cloud. And connect is the latest addition which is being done there. So you can also integrate different tools together or different platforms together with connect. So previously the problem which we have faced in the legacy systems, like there are different systems which are collecting data, there are different teams which are actually working in different silos. So that's how you can actually start working together via this engagement cloud. And connect basically provides you the flexibility to connect different systems. So because if you see, like there are two different systems which are collecting data, and integration between these two systems was a challenge before. But now with Sitecore Connect, you can actually get rid of that challenge, and you can connect your Sitecore with any systems very easily, right? So that's how we are going to see in some of our coming sessions also, how basically we can leverage connect to connect different systems. But that was the idea behind having connect in the first place for this engagement cloud. Now, a bit more about Sitecore Connect. So, is an integration framework which lets you connect your Sitecore products with applications in your ecosystem. So, let's say you're dealing with a big ecosystem, and you have your Sitecore like you have a Sitecore system, and then you have several other systems also, right? You're collecting data as part of your Sitecore also. Then there are other systems also where you are doing some marketing related stuff, or you are collecting some data. There could be many other use cases. So Sitecore Connect is basically a framework which facilitates connecting your Sitecore with other systems, and providing that, filling that bridge. If you have to connect data, if you have to do a kind of sync between two different systems, or if you have to collect some data from some other systems and pull it back to your into your Sitecore, so you can easily connect that using Sitecore Connect. So Sitecore Connect is basically a white label product based out of Workato, and which helps you to create your integration. So there is already a company by name Workato. So Sitecore Connect is a white label product, and we have an engagement with Sitecore for that. So we are using that. And Sitecore Connect is also a no code or low code approach. So why we call it as a no code or low code approach? Because either you don't have to write any line of code there, or very minimal code is required to basically perform that integration. So that's why we call it as a no code or low code approach. Then it is also a modular architecture which consists of your recipes and connectors. So we are going to check all those things. So in general, if you see, like Sitecore Connect is a is a collection of different recipes and connectors. So connectors, in short, is a is a layer basically which is required to connect your Sitecore with some other third party system. So let's say if you want to connect your Sitecore with for example, content hub one, or if you want to connect with, let's say, content hub, for example, right? So there needs to be a connector which actually connects your Sitecore with those other third party systems. So that's where we call it as a connector. And then recipes is all about a business process. It's a broader term. It's a process which is required and which you have to follow to basically perform that integration, or basically build up that integration. So it's a modular architecture that includes different recipes, different connectors, different several, there are other things also which we are going to cover there. So the question is, why exactly we have to use Sitecore Connect, right? So the first important thing is it's a cloud-based platform. Let's say if you want to leverage Sitecore Connect to connect your Sitecore instance or your Sitecore products with other systems, you can basically just do it, without any separate setup. You just need to have a subscription there, and you can just get started with that. So it's a cloud-based platform which basically get you speed up and running there very very fast and very easily there. User-friendly interface. When we say it's a user-friendly interface, what we mean is that there is already a dashboard available there where you can actually see what different process you have created, how different processes and different recipes are working. If there is any issue which you have seen, or which your specific process has encountered, how to fix that, all those things basically you can see. So it's a very user friendly interface. And if you have to create a new process also, you can easily create it via that canvas. So there is a canvas which is provided there, which comes as part of your Sitecore Connect. So we can actually use that canvas and build your process by simply drag and drop there. So we are going to see all those things in our coming session. So that's why we call it a very friendly interface. um, built-in integration is another point why we should go for Sitecore Connect. So let's say if you want to connect your Sitecore instance with some other systems, there are very high chances that a connector is already available for you to to start using that. So you don't have to basically build that connector from scratch. But yeah, sometimes if you're if you have very specific requirement, and if you're trying to connect your Sitecore with a third party system for which a connector is not available, definitely we have to look for a connector for that. And if the connector is not there, you might have to build that connector, and there are different ways we can build that connector. But in general, if you see, like, there are 5,000 plus out of the box connectors which are already available for you to start using those connectors. So there are very less chances that you have to build something from scratch. But in case if you really have to build something, there are options and process available for that also, how basically you can create your own connectors to connect your system. So that's why that is one of one other main reason why we should use Connect. So it is basically offloading all the heavy lifting work from you of connecting two different systems, and just providing you the interface which you can use and connect your systems. Dashboard, as I just mentioned before, that it provides a dashboard where you can see what different process you have created, how different process has performed in the past. If if there is an error, if there is any error which the process has encountered, what kind of error is encountered, all those things. So there are different types of details which you can see, who has triggered what, because we have to create different entities we have to create here. So you can basically check all those different things, who has created what, when it was created, what error you have seen, and all those different things you can see as directly as part of a dashboard. So we're going to see that also later. Automation friendly. So when we say automation friendly, because Sitecore Connect is all about connecting your Sitecore with third-party systems. And when we say we have to connect your Sitecore with third-party systems, it comes with a process. We have to basically build up that process, uh, how exactly our Sitecore will connect to those systems, right? So we also have to define when exactly that integration will happen, right? It's not like that simply we say that integration needs to happen, so the integration will happen automatically. It's not like that, right? So there are certain events which are required, there are certain rules which needs to be executed. Okay, that if this happens, just trigger that integration. If this happens, trigger that integration. So there are different ways we can define how that integration should be triggered. So for example, you can actually trigger something via schedulers. You can also trigger some integrations, or you can do something with the webhooks. So there are different ways you can actually trigger your integration, and you can write your process around that. So that's why we call it as automation friendly, because there are different ways for you to trigger your business process, and what exactly comes as part of your business process also you are going to define there. So everything is just drag and drop. You define your starting point, you define your target step, what exactly needs to happen there, and in between whatever things you have to do, the business process also you can define there, and just drag and drop, and you get things going from there. We also have a kind of strong community support. So as I mentioned, that those 5,000 plus connectors which are available there, some of the connectors are built by Workato, some of the connectors are built by Sitecore, some of the connectors are built by community members there. So in case if you find something which is not available, you can find there in the community section, and then you can find all those different connectors. And if you're working on building a new connector for your specific need, and you think that that connector might be helpful for other folks also, you can register your connector also there, so that other persons can start using that. So these are some of the pointers which I feel that we can start using Sitecore Connect. And there are other points also which basically advocate why we should go for Sitecore Connect, but these are some of the the starting point which we can think of, that because of so and so reason we can actually use Connect. um, Next is the building blocks. So we talked about the main important thing in the Sitecore Connect is the process, right? The process which needs to be executed, the process which needs to be implemented to connect two different systems, right? So in order to build that process, right, we need to implement something. We need to create some connections, we need to create some recipes, right? All those things. So this is all part of your business process. So connections, recipes, triggers, and actions are something which you can call it as the building blocks of your Sitecore Connect. We're going to check all these things, connection, recipes, triggers, actions in detail in our coming sessions. But for now, just to give you a very high level snapshot of these blocks, like connections is something is an interface which helps you connect your Sitecore with third party system, right? So you need to connect your instance, you need to connect your source system to a target system, and in order to connect your system, there needs to be a connection which needs to be established between these two systems. So how exactly that connection will establish? Like there is a predefined interface which is which are which you can actually use, and based on the kind of system which you're trying to connect, you might have to basically input different parameters and different values there. So let's say if you want to connect your Sitecore to Sitecore Content Hub 1, so the connection might be different. And if you want to connect your Sitecore with, let's say, um, Content Hub, then there will be a different connection which you need to set up there. So connection is the first thing which is required to connect your Sitecore with other party systems, with other third party systems using Sitecore Connect. Second part is recipes. So recipes is the core part of your Sitecore Connect, right? Because this is the most critical part, and this recipe is nothing but a business process, right? When exactly it should be triggered. So the triggers and actions are also part of your recipes you can think of. So recipes basically, defines how exactly things should happen, when exactly the process should be executed, when it should be triggered, and what should actually happen also should be defined by the recipes only, right? So it's a high level process. So it's a high level business process, and it defines, let's say if you want to connect your Sitecore with a system like Content Hub 1, for example. So you need to define a process, you need to define when exactly this process should be executed, right? So when we say when exactly it should be executed, so there we are actually looking for an entry point, we are looking for a trigger where when exactly it should get triggered, right? So there are triggers which actually defines and controls when exactly your specific process should get called, right? So we need to define a trigger for that, and there are different ways, there are different types of triggers we can create there. So we are going to see that in future. in our coming sessions. And then actions. So let's say the trigger says that, if something, if some, let's say if you're trying to create a certain item inside core, let's just create this business process or execute this business process. And when we execute this business process, this should happen. So this, when we say this should happen, that is nothing but an action we are looking here, right? What exactly should happen? Okay, we know that when this process should be executed, it should be executed when an item gets created in your in your Sitecore, in your system one. And when the item gets created, fine, now what should happen, what it should do, right? So what it should do, the actual business part should be defined as part of action, right? So you can define that you need to connect to container one, and you want to add some, you want to sync your data from your Sitecore to container one, right? So there are different things basically you can do there. So actions defines the core business part, what exactly should happen, and that will be driven by your actions. And triggers and actions are something which will be leveraged by your recipes to build that entire process for you, right? So that's how it is, nothing but a building block where each block is required to basically successfully connect your integration between two different systems. So connection, recipes, triggers and actions are required. And this is what I'm just I thought of connecting and discussing today. And in the next sessions we are going to talk about these dashboards and different building blocks, and how exactly we can connect to different systems. We are practically going to see all that. And if you guys have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to ask your questions, and we'll try to address your questions in the next sessions. And thanks for your time. Thank you.